Welcome to Empowering Women, Transforming Lives with Rebecca Hall Gruyter. In our program each week, we provide the tools, ideas, and encouragement to help you move ahead on your journey, becoming a more powerful and impactful woman in your own life. Now here's your host, Rebecca Hall Gruyter.
Welcome, everyone. I hope that you're having an amazing day. Honored to be connecting in with you. And in March, we really like to look at how do we spring forward? How do we keep that forward momentum that we had at the beginning of the year, our New Year's resolutions? How do we keep that momentum going forward? And one of the things I believe that's really important in keeping that forward momentum going is to really take a look at your boundaries. Do you have any? How are they working for you? Are they appropriate in alignment with who you are and who you're becoming, where you're going? I find it so important to take a look at what your boundaries are and what other people's boundaries are, and how are you navigating those waters. When we don't have boundaries, or we don't make sure to honor them, it can get quite messy in relationships and forward momentum. So today we have two experts. I know you're going to enjoy them. They have great wisdom and insight to share to really help us not only take a look at our boundaries, but elevate them. How powerful is that? So I'm excited to have you each joining in. I know you're going to get a lot of value out of our time together today. And I want you to be able to really use everything that is going to be shared with you today. I want you to really be able to drink it in. So I'm going to encourage you to take a breath in through the nose, all the way to your toes, and then out through your mouth, like through a straw. Taking a moment to just pause. We get so busy. We move so quickly. We can miss things that are right in front of us. We can get distracted and not hear that piece that can really serve and support us. So I invite you to use this time together today for you. In fact, I declare this is your time. This is an opportunity for you to get to be poured into, that you get to pause, draw a boundary around yourself right now, that this is your time. This is your moment. This is where you get to be still. You get to receive and be poured into. And as you're doing that and you're breathing and you're slowing down a little bit, picture breathing in that beautiful support. As you bring in oxygen to every cell of your body, breathe out those things that no longer serve, creating room and space for more. So as you're breathing, I invite you to close your eyes. You're absolutely safe. Just take a moment and put one hand on your heart, one hand on your head. Beautiful. Keep breathing, and as you do so, close your eyes, just making sure they're all closed. And see, as you pause and you breathe, what is it that you need today to encourage you, empower you, support you? What do you need real time to help you, to encourage you, to uplift you, to support you? That you are willing to receive, because you absolutely have choice. What is it that you need and are willing to receive that will help you spring forward? And just listen. See what message is placed on your heart. Sometimes it's a reminder, a memory, an insight, a picture, a scent. All of our senses can support us in listening and receiving. Beautiful. Take in that information. Let's take another deep breath. Come back into the room, eyes open, fully present, and take a moment to write down what was laid on your heart that you need and are willing to receive. And by writing it down, you're starting to bring it into reality. You're co-creating it. And I want you listening in with pen ready to capture those insights or ideas or tools that can be added to your toolbox that can support you on your journey. Be looking forward to an unexpected way that you can get supported and be able to move those things forward that matter most to you. Beautiful. We're going to go around our virtual room here, and I'm going to connect in with our guests. And I'm going to start with Jillian. Jillian, what was laid on your heart when you took a moment to stop, pause, and listen?
I think just needing a lot more downtime in order to navigate all the micro pieces that come into my life as I push this book forward that we've been working on for the past 3 years, and just being able to appreciate those moments that come with celebrating, the small steps, yet the big wins.
I love that downtime. And I think that's so important to remember on a long journey like that, a 3-year journey, to celebrate each step that you can and to take a moment to drink it in. Beautiful. Thank you. Absolutely. How about you, Jan? What was laid on your heart?
I think the biggest thing for me is having the freedom to make choices in my life that are authentic to my truth and keep forward on my path in terms of honoring my voice, honoring my values, and being able to connect with others in a way that's true to myself.
I love that. Freedom and choices and authenticity. And I like that. Honoring those things that are most in alignment with you to bring forward. And that so much starts with us, ourselves. We have to honor those things first in order for others to be able to as well. Beautiful. Thank you for sharing, Jan. Listeners, I'm curious about you. When you took a moment to stop, pause, and listen, what bubbled up for you? Perhaps something that Jan and Jillian have shared has sparked something within you. Take a moment as we get ready to go to our first commercial break. Take a moment and really see what is bubbling up for you, what you're hearing, what you're being reminded of, what you're discovering. See with what Jan and Jillian have shared, is there something that got added into that conversation, that dialogue you're having with yourself as you stop, pause, and listen. Now, enjoy these 2 minutes. We've built them into the show by design, on purpose, to support you. Use these 2 minutes to stay present and really listen to what is being spoken to your heart, what is bubbling up from your heart. Really drink that in. And we'll continue our conversation in just 2 minutes.
Follow Voice America at facebook.com/Voice America for juicy updates from your favorite radio shows and podcasts.
Announcing a powerful new TV channel featuring programs designed to enhance and transform your life. Make powerful connections, one program at a time. And by doing so, we can bring transformation to the world. Tune in each week to Empowered Connections TV as we add new programs to help you make empowered connections of your own. Visit empoweredconnectionstv.com. That's empoweredconnectionstv.com. And make the most of an incredible life transformation.
Voice America programs are now available on your favorite connected device, including Amazon, Alexa, and Google Home. Through streams with Apple Podcasts, TuneIn, and iHeartRadio, listening to your favorite show is as easy as saying the show name followed by the word podcast.
Hey, Alexa, play Finding Your Frequency podcast.
If that doesn't work, try adding on TuneIn or on iHeartRadio or on Apple Podcasts.
Rebecca Hall Gruyter's Speaker Talent Search is looking for speakers wanting to get on more stages. With just one audition, you could open the doors to hundreds of speaking opportunities, reach more people, and expand your impact. Finalists get to audition live in front of leaders looking to fill all kinds of speaking opportunities. Apply now at speakertalentsearch.com. That's speakertalentsearch.com. We look forward to hearing your message.
It's your world. Motivate, change, succeed. VoiceAmericaEmpowerment.com.
You're listening to Empowering Women, Transforming Lives with your host, Rebecca Hall Gruyter. If you have a question or comment for Rebecca or her guest, we'd love to hear from you. Please call into the program at 1-888-346-9141. That's 1-888-346-9141. You may also send an email to Rebecca at yourpurposedrivenpractice.com. Now back to Empowering Women, Transforming Lives.
Welcome back, everyone. I hope you enjoyed those 2 minutes, that opportunity to just pause, have a few moments for just you, an opportunity to breathe, to be, to allow those things that sometimes we're too busy to hear within ourselves to bubble up and share their wisdom and insights with you. Now, I hope you enjoy those 2-minute moments. We have them built throughout this show, secretly disguised as commercial breaks, to support you and give you an opportunity to integrate what's being shared. So it doesn't just become something on your to-do list, but you actually take a moment to drink it in and have it become part of you, those things that serve you most. Beautiful. Well, welcome back. Today, we're focusing in on elevating your boundaries and really taking a look at what are our boundaries and how can they serve you? How can they help you spring forward? Why are they important? And really, what are some ways we can start to elevate them? We can bring them forward in a way that really honor and serve and support each and every one of us. Oh, I'm excited to introduce our two guests. You're going to, I know, just enjoy them, their energy, their perspective, and wisdom. So Jan and Jillian Yuhas are relationship experts, boundary and conflict resolution consultants. They both have an MA, MFT, and they are the authors behind Boundary Badass, a powerful method for elevating your value and relationships. What a beautiful combination to be bringing that forward. They have over 2 decades of experience in interpersonal psychology and mediation. The sisterly duo, and I love that they're sisters, the sisterly duo are passionate about unlocking others' inherent value and empowering you to master the art of setting personal and professional boundaries. Please lean in. Warmly welcome the powerful and dynamic sisterly duo, Jan and Jillian Yuhas. Welcome.
Thank you for having us.
You are so welcome. Thrilled to have you both joining us today and excited to hear all that you have to share with us. So I'm going to start with Jan. I would love to hear, why are boundaries important? What are they? Why are they important? Why do they matter to us?
So boundaries are important to us because they align to our authentic truth. Even though we set boundaries from a place of our value system, they actually meet our emotional needs on a deeper level in order to give us inner peace and fulfillment in life and in our relationships. And our boundaries help us have clarity in life. They help us build trust in our connections with others and reduce any sort of confusion or conflict that may arise.
These sound so important and powerful to us to be able to be who we are and to step forward in an authentic and empowered way. Thank you. Beautiful share. And Jillian, anything you would add to that about your perspective on boundaries, why they're important and what they do for us?
Well, I think they allow us to feel, like she said, fulfilled in our personal life or others. They also allow us to speak what is going to help us navigate when conflict does arise, because we have a method that can help us utilize and basically speak without being fearful of how the other person may respond or react, because we're promoting growth in the way when we make in terms of how we establish boundaries and more of the we mindset, especially when working with others.
Oh, I love that, how this plays into when there are conflicts or misunderstandings, that it can really be a way to navigate through those in a positive and powerful way. Thank you for sharing. I appreciate that. Now, understanding a little bit of what boundaries are and how they can support us, I'd love to know personally, how have going so deep into the work around boundaries and helping so many people in them in so many different ways, how have boundaries personally helped your lives be better and stronger and more aligned? Jillian, I'd love for you to share.
They've allowed me to, like I said, speak up even if I feel uncomfortable in a situation, and I can still advocate for what it is that I need or would like to happen in the relationship going forward. They also help me on a personal level maintain my self-care and self-love routine, be able to nurture the relationship with myself, and that provides me with fulfillment in order to, and the confidence to speak in a way that allows me to transfer that emotion and self-soothing way that allows me to strengthen my relationship, and then also have it simultaneously strengthen the relationship with others.
I love that. And I'm curious if there was a time where you didn't have really strong boundaries, that or something that happened in your life that had you really lean into start to really create and invest in yourself in this way to have these powerful boundaries.
I would say growing up in a very small town and then moving to a huge metropolitan city, that's when I really realized I needed to have stronger boundaries. Because I felt like meeting people from all different cultural backgrounds, they had a different way of living, and where we grew up, family values was very important. And so learning that not everyone had the same values was a big culture shock.
And helped you kind of discover where your boundaries were and weren't as you navigated forward.
Yes.
Beautiful.
That's what I think. That I needed to make a shift in my communication style, so I felt mutually respected.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Thank you for sharing. I appreciate it. And Jan, I'd love for you to share how have boundaries changed your life for the better and have really been able to make a positive impact on those things that are most important to you.
So boundaries have really helped me in terms of my personal life and my professional life. I think we got started long ago whenever we were on our first entrepreneurial endeavors where we didn't have boundaries. And we had to strengthen them when we were dealing with it was a very, I would say, high conflict or lots of moving parts and dynamics that were relational dynamics occurring in that business. And so that's when we started operating from our values rather than emotions. In order to figure out how to create alignment within the connection itself. And so that kind of was the catalyst to us really starting to implement boundaries in a different way, where the relationship was also being elevated at the same time, but us also sticking to our professional boundaries in terms of business operations.
And I love this, how you were able to step into speaking from and coming from your values instead of emotion. I think that's a really powerful piece that we can start to take away, and that really helped you from a business perspective to have those boundaries that helped you bring forward those things that you were looking to bring forward in an aligned way. Beautiful. Thank you for sharing.
Yes.
Now, go ahead.
We had learned in grad school to operate from an emotion-based technique, which obviously you can't do in business, but then also in our personal relationships and love lives, that's where we realized that we had to transition from the emotion-based way of expressing boundaries to more value-based if we were going to be heard and understood.
Mm-hmm.
So
and that's a big shift.
The business aspect into our personal relationships as well, which created greater alignment in our personal relationship.
Beautiful. I love that. Now, not only has this been something that has personally and professionally helped you both in so many amazing ways. You now are so passionate about boundaries and so committed to them that you now help others professionally and personally in business and in relationships really have those powerful boundaries in place that are in alignment with who they are. So I'm curious as to why this is the thing that you have both become so powerful and committed to helping people with. Let's start with Jan.
I think we became committed to boundaries because when we had moved from a small town to a large city, I felt powerless in my relationships. I didn't feel like I had a voice or I was being heard and understood. And as humans, we just want to be heard and understood more than anything in life, and to feel respected by other people. So when you're not feeling respected, it can be very hard and frustrating to go through those difficult times. So for me personally, being able to elevate my value and know that I'm expressing myself and staying true to myself. And if somebody else is unwilling to meet me based on that value or the standard of the connection and what I'm willing or not willing to accept, then I have to, didn't have anything to do with like me. I'm not doing anything, but it's all on them if they weren't willing to meet me at the standard.
And being able to really stand in that. Mm-hmm. Beautiful. And why is this something that you are excited about helping other people with? Why is this the thing that gets you up in the morning and that you can't wait to help people with boundaries?
I'm excited about boundaries and helping others because I feel like a lot of people are kind of in the same shoes that I used to be in, where they feel like they're not being heard or understood in their relationships. And so a lot of times it has nothing to do with them, but it has to just simply do with the communication approach in order to get their needs met. It's simple little shifts that can turn their whole life into a much more powerful way where they feel inner peace and happiness within their life.
And I can hear a smile in your voice as you're sharing that. I love it. I love it. Jillian, I would love to know your thoughts on that as well. Why is this something that you're so passionate and excited about helping others with?
I think because it's such an effective communication tool, and we can literally resolve conflict very quickly by using a calm tone of voice, but then also because values are universally understood and emotions are often one-sided perspective, this piece of how we establish boundaries in our relationships can really open up conversations and allow people to even connect on a deeper level, which helps strengthen that relationship and grow to the next level. And like boundaries is such it's changed my life for the better, and I can't be, so I'm just, it's, one of the biggest blessings. And so I'm very passionate about sharing our method with others because it's what's worked for us and it works for all of our clients and people that we share it with. And so putting it out there is going to be, I hope be able to transform more lives as well.
I love that. Transforming more lives and helping them be heard, stand in their power and their values, that they're able to not only have conflict resolution in a more empowered way, but they have those deeper connections. I love both of your perspectives on what you're adding to the conversation about boundaries and perhaps enhancing, elevating our perspective on them and why they're so important and how transformational it can be to have boundaries work in this way in all of our lives. And we've been looking at how powerful and positive they are and knowing what those boundaries are. And I'm curious, how can we embrace shift and changes? Because if we're looking at shifting our boundaries and aligning, there are going to be shift and changes. Sometimes there can be conflict that happens or even a relationship setback when we start shifting and changing how we draw our lines, where our boundaries are. How do we learn to embrace that change and stand in it versus shrink back? Jillian.
Well, I think when it comes to establishing boundaries, the whole goal, the way we establish them, especially in relationships, is using a we mindset where each person has a voice to articulate and share what their perspective is around that shared value or goal that they're trying to work through. And so when both people have a voice, it actually opens up the communication channels where they can actually get to the root of the problem much quicker than as if someone may be telling someone what to do or what's going to happen if they don't do something. And so that's more of an ultimatum. So the way we really work and help people in terms of setting boundaries is all about this lean mindset. So it's a collaboration of negotiation to actually solve the problem collaboratively. So it supports both people in that relationship.
And it seems like it would even create a deeper connection and a better understanding.
Absolutely.
Yeah, beautiful. Thank you. Jan, anything you'd like to add to that?
I think she covered it pretty well. So a lot of times I think there's a big misconception out there that boundaries are more or less, if you don't do this, then I'm going to do that. Or if you don't do this, this is going to happen, which is a threat or a demand that's being projected onto the relationship or the other person. And what happens when we set, I'll call them, they're not really boundaries, but that's the kind of misconception out there. They're more ultimatums. What happens is we're creating more disconnection and resentment in the connection rather than bringing this person closer to us and creating a mutually aligned plan that works for both parties.
Thank you for sharing that, because I do think sometimes that's what pops into people's heads when they hear boundary. They're thinking of ultimatums versus really what is most aligned and important, and how can we come together and move forward in a positive way. Wonderful. Thank you so much both for sharing great insights and information. It's a way for us to expand our perspectives on boundaries. And I love how they have been so transformational in your journey and those that you've been able to support and help people really look at their boundaries, elevate them, and move forward in an aligned, value-based way. It's powerful. We are getting ready to go to our next commercial break. And as we do so, listeners, I want you to think about some of what Jan and Jillian have said. How does this feed and support and empower you as you're looking at boundaries, perhaps that misperception about ultimatums, and really looking at what are those things that are most important to you that you want to have aligned, you want to have boundaries around so that you can really step forward and shine. We'll continue our conversation in just 2 minutes.
A little birdie told me Voice America is on X. Follow us at Voice America TRN.
Rebecca Hall Gruyter's Speaker Talent Search is looking for speakers wanting to get on more stages. With just one audition, you could open the doors to hundreds of speaking opportunities, reach more people, and expand your impact. Finalists get to audition live in front of leaders looking to fill all kinds of speaking opportunities. Apply now at speakertalentsearch.com. That's speakertalentsearch.com. We look forward to hearing your message.
Voice America programs are now available on your favorite connected device, including Amazon, Alexa, and Google Home. Through streams with Apple Podcasts, TuneIn, and iHeart Radio, listening to your favorite show is as easy as saying the show name followed by the word podcast.
Hey, Alexa, play Finding Your Frequency podcast.
If that doesn't work, try adding on TuneIn or on iHeart Radio or on Apple Podcasts.
Announcing a powerful new TV channel featuring programs designed to enhance and transform your life. Make powerful connections, one program at a time. And by doing so, we can bring transformation to the world. Tune in each week to Empowered Connections TV as we add new programs to help you make empowered connections of your own. Visit empoweredconnectionstv.com. That's empoweredconnectionstv.com. And make the most of an incredible life transformation.
It's your world. Motivate, change, succeed. VoiceAmericaEmpowerment.com.
You're listening to Empowering Women, Transforming Lives with your host, Rebecca Hall Gruyter. If you have a question or comment for Rebecca or her guest, we'd love to hear from you. Please call into the program at 1-888-346-9141. That's 1-888-346-9141. You may also send an email to Rebecca at yourpurposedrivenpractice.com. Now back to Empowering Women, Transforming Lives.
Welcome back, everyone. I hope you enjoyed those 2 minutes, an opportunity to just reflect on boundaries and some of what you're learning and discovering about them and how they can align with those things that are most important to you, those values and ways you can show up in an empowered way, authentically moving forward and standing for those things that matter most to you. And I love the concept that they were sharing about where you draw those lines and boundaries and how you're inviting people to engage with you. They have the opportunity to meet you at that place. And that creates a more powerful contact, connection, and conversation that's aligned and allows you to move forward in powerful ways. So just some really, really great perspective and ways to look at boundaries and to have them support us in our relationships and in our business. Now, one of the things I mentioned in the very, very beginning when I was introducing Jan and Jillian is that they are authors of a book that's coming out. And so I wanted to make sure that we talked about that a little bit because I always like my listeners to be in the loop and know when something wonderful is coming out that can serve and support them. And so I'm going to have our guests share a little bit about this. And I encourage you to write down the date of March 28th. That's when it will be released, and you're able to get your copy at a special rate of $1.99 for the first 24 hours. You heard it here first. So it's an opportunity for you to lean in as this book and some of the perspective that Jan and Jillian are bringing to the table are serving and supporting you. So with that, I would love to have, let's see, Jan, can you share the full title and subtitle of the book and why you're excited about it?
So the full title is Boundary Badass, a valuable method for elevating your value and relationships. So I'm really passionate about this book. We put a lot of work into it over the last 3 years. Pretty much we committed every weekend, I would say, in our lives because we're also working full-time serving our clients. And I would say I'm very passionate about it because I think it's going to give a fresh new perspective on setting boundaries and creating greater connection and more meaningful relationships within everybody's lives.
I love it. Thank you. Jillian, why are you excited about it?
I think it's going to be great because it's a lot of interpersonal psychology. So people are going to get to really learn new things or maybe just be able to sort of hone in on some things maybe they weren't sure of or why they maybe respond or react a certain way in their relationships. So there's a lot of interpersonal psychology, but then they're going to get the actual skills and tools to, improve their relationships by implementing it. So, our book is a education, self-discovery, but also a workbook all in one combined. So it's really going to be useful and purposeful and sort of like a book that you're never going to want to not have by your side.
I love that. And use again and again. And I love that you have included information so people have an opportunity to learn, but they get to actually implement some of these things and that you have a workbook to help them bring these things forward in their life. That's a really powerful combination. Now, I was just sitting and reflecting as you're both sharing, not only do you both work together, and your sisters, you have created every weekend this book over 3 years together. And I'm just curious what that journey has been like and how important boundaries may have been in that, because I can tell how connected and close you are, and there is great joy in all that you're doing. But I'm curious how that plays your perspective on working together and writing together. Jillian.
So we would be writing together, but I would be at my house in, like, let's say, our Google Doc writing, and Jan would be at her house writing. So we would be writing together, but not actually necessarily with each other. And I think that's such, a unique perspective, and probably twins can really manage and do, because we can always, we sort of have the same mindset in terms of, or the knowledge that we, in terms of creating this book. So I think, and then also just setting time limits for ourselves. That way we didn't sort of interfere with each other's personal lives as well, while still maintaining our professional goals. So finding that work-life love balance in the process was really important for us. And I think we did a pretty good job, because we're going to release it soon. So.
I love it. I love it. Jan, anything you would add to that?
Yeah, like she said, our writing process would probably be unique to the average person. And I think it's because maybe we are twins. So we have no problem kind of erasing each other's words and then rewriting it and finishing each other's sentences if we know that it's going to sound better or whatnot. So, of course, we have our sisterly moments because we are so close. So that's inevitable. But we do have different strengths when it comes to, I'm a big picture thinker. And Jillian's a much more detailed type of thinker. So we do play off of each other when it comes to collectively producing the end product.
I love that. You're really able to play to each other's strengths, which is beautiful, and harness that twin power. I love it in so many amazing ways. Well, thank you. That was a curiosity I had as you were sharing. I just thought, I wonder what that has been like. So thank you for sharing. I appreciate that. And obviously it's worked together beautifully. You've been able to help so many people and bring this book forward. It's about to launch. Are you guys excited? Are there things that you're looking forward to happening as this book comes out into the world? Jan.
We are very excited. I think we're also nervous. This is our first book that we're releasing. So even though, because you never know how people are going to respond, and also because our method is very different in terms of how people have been told to set boundaries, as when boundaries started becoming a very popular word out there. But she and I have a very diverse background compared to how other people set boundaries. And we really think that our blend of interpersonal psychology and conflict resolution really elevates our method to another level, because not only are we empowering readers to really voice their value, but we're also empowering their relationships simultaneously.
I love it. I love it. Jillian, what are you excited about? Our thoughts or feelings, it's just around the corner.
I think I'm just excited to put something out there because, we can be definitely more quiet at times. And I think putting something out there is very bold and brave, and just goes to show that you can come from a very small town of 900 people and still produce something and share it with the rest of the world. So it doesn't matter what your background is or where you're from. And I'm just proud that, she and I pushed ourselves and pursued the goal. And it just shows that anybody can do it if they just put their heart and mind and soul into it.
Beautiful. Thank you for sharing. I appreciate that. Al, I mentioned in the beginning of this segment that it will be available on March 28th. So hopefully everybody's marked that on their calendar. And I'm excited to get my copy as well and lean into learning more about boundaries and how they can support so many of the relationships and things in my life as well. There will be this special rate of $1.99 for the first 24, possibly 48 hours. We're going to be promoting and sharing it out into the world. And you can watch for that in media. There's also a way you can get on their list so that you're notified right away and given that special link as soon as it's available. So a couple of things I would love to have you both share. So let's start with Jillian. I was thinking if that's more detailed, I'd love for you to share the cover. So when you came together and designed the cover, I'd love to know, what does it look like and what are your favorite elements of it?
Well, the cover is very bold and colorful, and I think we just wanted something that just stood out to show that it's just really going to pop and very sort of has this artistic element. Art's always a hobby of ours and interest we did, and so we're typically not actually color people, but we wanted color in this because it's just something that just shows that you're vibrant, your value, you're alive, and it's just like really honing in and aligning to someone's authenticity, which it can be a very like colorful experience. So we wanted, and so the top of it's all color and the bottom is just white and elegant and classic, but it's sort of just creating that, I don't know, just a bold experience, I guess, that's powerful.
I love it. And what are some of the colors that we can look for on the top there?
There's lots of like blues, magentas, orange, teals, all like it's like a paint splash in a way or ink drop in a way that comes through. Mm-hmm. So it's very like has some shades of the rainbow, but it's more or less predominantly blues and pinks and oranges. So yeah.
Oh, sounds gorgeous. Wonderful. Thank you. And Jan, what are some of your favorite aspects of the cover?
Let's see. I love the colors, very vibrant and bold. And I think the blending of all the different paints kind of reminds me of different aspects of our lives, that even though we have our own personal boundaries, there's also relationship boundaries, and everything is always interconnected or intertwined in our lives. And so we have to figure out how to find that like balance, because there is going to be overlap.
Beautiful. Well, thank you. I'm excited, and I love to have a visual that our listeners can be looking for when they go and click the link, or they look on Amazon to get their copy, so they have a visual to help them find your beautiful book. Well, as this book is going out into the world, and it's just around the corner, so March 28th, I know we'll be here very, very soon. Is there a favorite section or a favorite part, like you just can't wait for the reader to discover this or to interact with this piece of the book? Jan?
Wow. So I would definitely think they will find lots of different aspects of the book that are going to be very valuable in their life. I would say maybe the most important chapter might be the chapter where you become invaluable, because that's really how you elevate your own value. And once we elevate our own value in life, everything else kind of just falls in line in regards to us commanding the respect and being valued by others in our life.
Beautiful. How about you, Jillian? Is there a favorite part or section or feature that you just can't wait for people to discover?
Well, chapter 9 is where we introduce the Boundary Badass method. So I think that's going to be one that people are excited about, because that's what's going to also help fuel the rest of the book in itself. But really learning that method and understanding how it's going to be effectively spoken and basically shared within our, relationships. So I think that chapter is probably going to be the most important one in order to implement the actual method and get it out there.
I love that. So we're going to learn and have support in implementing. Beautiful. Thank you for sharing. I love it. And as you look back on the journey, you've created this powerful book that you're launching into the world. We've talked a lot about boundaries. Are there anything, as you reflect back on the journey, maybe a moment where you had to push through, or it was a surprise in the journey of creating a book? Because 3 years is a long commitment, and there will be surprises. Was there a moment that you stopped and paused and were surprised and navigated through? I'd love for you to share. Jan?
I think there was lots of moments. I didn't realize the amount of dedication and work that went into writing a book. You think you're just going to sit down and write, and you're going to edit it, and then you're just going to put it together, and there it goes out onto the shelf. That is not how it goes. So, of course, there's lots of learning curves along the way, especially when you're doing something for the first time. So it's really important to find resilience and the belief within yourself to really keep pushing forward when it comes to taking on such a big project.
Great share. Thank you. Jillian, was there surprises for you or things that you discovered that you didn't know as you started to navigate through?
I don't know if there's so many surprises, but what I do know is you have to be willing to make sacrifices and know that it's so often that people want that quick fix, or I want to take that vacation, or I want to go, spend time here, do this. And sometimes you have to be willing to set a boundary and say, no, I can't. I actually have to get this bigger goal done that I'm working on. And so knowing how to navigate long-term goals versus the short-term of fun and excitement, and find that balance of, when can I take a vacation versus I want to leave this weekend and go somewhere, kind of thing. So you have to be willing to make sacrifices, I think. And that's like an understatement, I would say, because you do make a lot of sacrifices, but it's all worth it in the end.
Beautiful. I love that. And to me, that even sounds like boundaries within yourselves and being reminded of those and the short-term goals, the long-term goals, where that all comes together. And you have both successfully navigated that to be at this point with your powerful book coming forward that is going to make such a difference in so many lives around boundaries. And it is coming and about to be released in the world. So congratulations to both of you. We're very excited about your book coming forth. We're getting ready to go to our next commercial break. So listeners, I want you to think about what Jan and Jillian have shared, see what's speaking to you, and maybe you have some of those goals that you're working towards, and really paying attention to your short-term, long-term goals, maybe sacrificing or planning things to really create room and space for those longer-term goals to come forward, because they do come forward step by step. We'll continue our conversation in just 2 minutes.
Voice America is on your favorite smart speaker. If you have Alexa or Google Home, go ahead and give us a try.
Hey Alexa, play Finding Your Frequency podcast on TuneIn.
Announcing a powerful new TV channel featuring programs designed to enhance and transform your life. Make powerful connections, one program at a time. And by doing so, we can bring transformation to the world. Tune in each week to Empowered Connections TV as we add new programs to help you make empowered connections of your own. Visit empoweredconnectionstv.com. That's empoweredconnectionstv.com. And make the most of an incredible life transformation.
You need to live up to your full potential. You've heard that for years, but now there's a channel to help you get there. Introducing the Voice America Empowerment Channel. Our listeners have told us that they want to be motivated, hear about success stories, and positive encouragement around the clock. And we've responded to you. The Voice America Empowerment Channel is the home of the world's top life coaches, entrepreneurs, and success experts. Listen to the Voice America Empowerment Channel. It's here at voiceamericaempowerment.com.
Rebecca Hall Gruyter's Speaker Talent Search is looking for speakers wanting to get on more stages. With just one audition, you could open the doors to hundreds of speaking opportunities, reach more people, and expand your impact. Finalists get to audition live in front of leaders looking to fill all kinds of speaking opportunities. Apply now at speakertalentsearch.com. That's speakertalentsearch.com. We look forward to hearing your message.
Find out what makes the most successful people tick. Keep listening to the Voice America Empowerment Channel. voiceamericaempowerment.com.
You're listening to Empowering Women, Transforming Lives with your host, Rebecca Hall Gruyter. If you have a question or comment for Rebecca or her guest, we'd love to hear from you. Please call into the program at 1-888-346-9141. That's 1-888-346-9141. You may also send an email to Rebecca at yourpurposedrivenpractice.com. Now back to Empowering Women, Transforming Lives.
Welcome back, everyone. I hope you enjoyed those 2 minutes, and I wanted to take an opportunity to have our guests share how you can get on their special list so you are notified right away when the book comes out, you'll have that link delivered to your inbox, so you're able to take advantage of the special rate that's available those first 24 hours. And I also wanted you to have the opportunity to connect with our guests and go deeper. If they've shared things that have really resonated with you, I want you to be able to go deeper and to connect with them. So have that paper and pen ready as I have them share their contact information and the best way to connect and go deeper. With that, let's have Jan. Can you share what is the best way for us to connect and go deeper with you?
If you'd like to connect with us and go deeper, visit janandjillian.com, and you can read our blogs. You can set up a consult if you're looking for more personal one-on-one support or relationship support for your relationships in your life. That's how you can get in touch with us personally.
Wonderful. And I understand that you have an exclusive list that our listeners can get on. I'd love for you to share a little bit about that as well.
Yes, they can get on our exclusive list at boundarybadass.com, and we will be doing a giveaway of the paperback copy and also a behind-the-scenes live Q&A with both of Jillian and I.
Wonderful. Wonderful. So they can go there, get on your list, and sign up for that drawing as well, which is exciting and fun. Jillian, do you have a thought as we are bringing our show to a close, just a final tip or thought that you wanted to share with our listeners as they get ready to go back out into the world?
I think just really being able to voice your value, because that is going to be your truth. And if we stay silent for the sake of others, or if we become reactive, we're not really owning our value. And it's so important to stay aligned to our personal worth and who we are, because that's where you're going to basically be able to transform your life and relationships. So just really being aligned to your values is going to be key to really voicing that value.
Beautiful. Thank you for sharing. And Jan, do you have a final thought you wanted to share with our listeners as well?
I think my final thought is to really focus on your authentic truth. And when you focus on your authentic truth, then everything else in life will become easier. For like she said, when we stay silent, life only becomes more complicated when we shove problems under the rug. So the minute a boundary violation or a disconnect occurs in our relationship, it's really important to speak up in that moment and get to the root of the disconnect so we can peacefully move forward in life.
Wonderful. Thank you for sharing. I appreciate both of you, the work that you're doing. I'm excited about your book coming forward. And thank you I know this is a busy time right prior to launch, so I really appreciate you both making time to share with us today. Thank you very much.
Thank you for having us.
Absolutely. My pleasure. Listeners, I want to thank you, each and every one of you, for leaning in and joining us. And I hope that you got a lot of great tips and insight and a new perspective to really help you elevate your boundaries as you navigate and go forth. And one of the things that I have really appreciated that has been shared throughout the show is how important it is for you, for your value, for you to be aligned with your true authentic self and honoring that and kind of standing in that. And that's because you are valuable. You are a gift. You're uniquely made and designed for such a time as this. So the more you can lean into who you are, how you are truly wired, and honor that, protect that, bring that forward, be able to share it in an empowered way, the better the world is for it. So my encouragement is to take a couple moments at the end of today's show, really drink in all that serves, and then choose how you're going to step forward, how you're going to be and navigate, and be willing to share just a little bit more of who you are, the gift that you are with the world. That's how we can make the biggest difference and create a positive ripple. Be willing to bloom where you're planted and shine. Have an amazing week, everyone, and we'll talk to you next time.
Thank you for joining us this week for Empowering Women, Transforming Lives. Please tune in again for another edition with your host, Rebecca Hall Gruyter, next Thursday at 1 p.m. Eastern Time, 10 a.m. Pacific, on the Voice America Empowerment Channel, with a replay on Sunday at 4 p.m. Eastern and 1 p.m. Pacific on the Voice America Variety Channel. Have a beautiful week, and may you always bloom where you're planted and shine